temple is but yours, referring to India. Now, our previous speaker would have you believe that insulting Bharat Mata is at a qualitatively different level from insulting the Prophet.
Oh, come on, go ahead.
He's got fantastic English, but a very limited cognitive ability of things. Let's go to the first principles.
आप ही क्या है सब कुछ?
What is the
Dr. Anshul, please, I request.
Okay,
Fine.
so the problem with this man's cognitive ability is that he can't go back to first principles. What is hurt? You can take hurt on anything. You know, you can't call my mother things, you can't call Rahul Gandhi things, you can't call Narendra Modi things. What are you going to throw people in jail for? If hurt feelings are the category for going to jail or condemning things, you're going down an extraordinarily slippery slope. What was the age of enlightenment? How did Western democratic freedoms come about? It starts off with the age of enlightenment, where the fundamental thesis of the Catholic
Please,
Church
we don't want a
first
lecture from
questioned.
you.
So you then go on to the Reformation of Martin Luther, and then you have the French Revolution, which was completely anti-clerical. The first thing they did was to keep insulting the gods and things like that. Remember, freedom of speech was born in blasphemy. Blasphemy was the critical test of freedom of speech. There is no freedom of speech without blasphemy. Now, if you take away from that principle, you start going down. I even refuse to accept this notion of hate speech. See, there's a very clear legal principle. It's called the Brandenburg Principle in America, which is the only speech that is off limits is legally, is when you have a specific threat against a specific person or a specific community or a specific group. That is the gold standard of freedom of speech. Okay, why is there no clear definition of hate speech? Hate speech is whatever anyone wants it to be, wherever they want it to be. Right? And isn't it quite curious that somebody without a legal training like me has to teach somebody with a legal training about all of this? So it's really quite sad what the level of understanding of the first principles involved, forget the first principles, even the basic principles involved, has come down to in this country. See, everybody has a right to. The people who insulted the Shivalinga, they have a right to. Okay, the people, there's a Twitter handle called Ambedkar's Caravan, they have a right to. But under the Brandenburg Principle, saying you should go and kill Brahmins is off limits because you're actively encouraging violence.
Yes.
Right? So we're going down an extremely slippery slope. This is going to end up with blasphemy laws in this country. And once you enter the territory of blasphemy laws, you're going down further and further and further shrinking of personal freedoms in this. Anyway,
but in India's
country,
concept, Abhijit, I do have to ask you this question. You are talking about the larger concept of, freedom of speech, etc. But in India's concept, can we really go down that road where we can allow open insult of any religion? The question today that I'm asking is that if you have
Shivani,
high standards about maintaining, sanity about one religion, it has to be for everybody else.
It has to be, which is why blasphemy is key. Understand what is happening out here. The state has to have a monopoly of violence. The state is shifting the burden of maintaining peace to the individual citizen. It is called what we call in Hindi kamchori. Sarkar kamchor sarkar hai. Any sarkar that basically says that we will not support blasphemy, we will use all kinds of differing standards, etc., to shrink the space for free speech, is essentially kamchori at